time to be a part of this evening. Thank you. So firstly, my name is Laura. I'm the MIP coordinator at the Shepherd. I look over the curriculum for year 6 all the way through to 10, and part of that is the personal project, which we'll look at in depth tonight. At the back, can you hear me okay? Yeah? Right, if not, just go like this for me and I'll raise my voice. Yeah? And also, as I go through, there will be a time at the end for some questions and some answers. But if you're really just a bit stuck on something, feel free just to ask a question as I talk. Alright, so firstly, what the personal project is. The personal project is an independent project that students embark on at the end of year 9 and it finishes in year 10. It is a subject within the International Baccalaureate Middle Years program, which I'll refer to as the IBMIP because it's quite a mouthful, that all students are required to participate in and complete. So, it is primarily a research and action project that surrounds the personal interest of your child. And so, the key word here is independent. The idea is that it is independently started, completed by your student. And we do offer support as they travel along, but the idea is that they learn to become self-regulated, independent learners who are prepared for senior school. What it provides is students an excellent opportunity to produce a truly personal and often creative product or outcome that demonstrates a consolidation of their learning throughout year 6 through to year 9 of the Middle Years program at the Shepherd. And the personal project draws together all subject areas into one project. They reflect their learning in maths and English and science, humanities, arts, design, PE, language, etc. They use that to develop an actual project. And that's a really crucial part here. And once again, the personal nature is really important. Students really are, they're not left alone with support along the way, but it's up to them to initiate, to create, and to finalise their project. So, and also fundamental to the IB education, that is the learner profile. So we want our students to develop as risk takers, as thinkers, as open-minded communicators, those 10 learner profile attributes that I'm sure you all have access to by now, and receive personal project awards, etc. They've gone home. And so we really strive to help that through this project our students develop as students. Welcome. So, through the personal project, the students learn to take responsibility for very significant and large pieces of work they can, over extended period of time, complete. And so the aims of the personal project, the aims of any subject is basically what the student can expect to experience and to learn. So these aims suggest also how a student can be changed throughout the learning process. They can develop and become better learners, basically, more self-regulated and more independent learners. So the idea is they participate in a sustained and self-directed inquiry within a global context. They generate creative new insights and develop deep understandings through in-depth investigation. And that they demonstrate the skills and attitudes and knowledge required to complete a project over an extended period of time. And they learn to communicate effectively in a variety of situations with community mentors, teachers, their peers, online community. There's multiple different aspects there. And then what they do is actually demonstrate responsible action through as a result of their learning. And they also learn to appreciate the process of learning and take pride in their accomplishments. As a college, we really value what the students complete in the end. We have a big exhibition night, we put their work on display for them and show off their learning basically, show them what to the whole college community what they've achieved. Yeah. So, as a bit of a look into how this prepares you for senior school, our head of senior school, Dean Cummins, will just talk briefly about how it acts as a bridge from students from middle school into senior school. So, Dean, I'll pass it on to you.
Thanks, Laura. As Laura said, I'm the head of senior school. I've been here a short time, but my involvement with the IB, MIP and the personal project is fairly lengthy over the past 4 or 5 years. One thing that I love about the transition as I've worked in middle school as well has been the personal project. from obviously 9 into 10, we started towards the year 9. really does act as a nice bridge. The step into senior school can be one which a lot of students find quite rigorous, and there's a bit of anxiety around it. The personal project itself and the way that it's administered here is a good framework for them to do that step up, that natural step up into senior school. It's actually what I tend to think as a two-bridge model, really, because from there, obviously, 9 into 10 is a big transition year, but also the 10 into 11. So after they've completed the personal project, they've got a good emphasis of what it's like to actually complete something that's really long. Tend to do small things in middle school. There's still big projects, but tend to be smaller, just in nature. Where obviously the personal project is something that's really quite large. Of course, that's something that they do and we'll be doing in year 11 and 12 in stage 1 and stage 2. A lot of, and breaking it into small chunks. And that's why, again, the personal project is something that's awesome. Obviously, seeing the end product is something that's really quite amazing, but it's the process as much as anything. It's designing, it's investigating, it's researching, all those things. So it is a really fantastic thing. Some people think that why do you have an IB, MYP, abilities curriculum and have a senior years which is NTCT or stage-based? I tend to think of the transitions in all honesty, because the NTCT, by its nature and in its assessments, are ones that the project is assignment-based or project-based. So again, that really helps with the transition, and statistics, are that the results will be better towards tough schools towards the end of stage 2. So I'm obviously really on board with it, and I think it's a great thing for your students, for our students, your children. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. That's great. It's a wonderful learning experience, and we find that by the end, our current year 10 submitted their projects 2 weeks ago now. When they left the office after dropping off their product and their process journal and their report, they left walking about a foot higher, just feeling really proud of their massive accomplishment. And it is a process, a journey. It can be a little bit painful at times, but ultimately it's got very good results. So I'll just talk you through now the actual process of the actual personal project. So what happens, you've probably heard about inquiry cycles, inquiry. At Good Shepherd within the Middle Years program, we are all about inquiry, and we're all about student-led inquiry. So students taking the initiative to firstly ask questions, find answers to those questions, then keep asking questions and developing their understanding, their knowledge as they learn. So to start off with, our students begin with this cycle, and they start at investigating. So what they do here, this part here, they define a goal that is based on personal interests. So the key word here is personal interests, but a bit of key to success is the interest is something that you know a lot about, because it is a research project. So if you're creating some sort of song or an EP or an album, you want to do a musical instrument that you know limited, that you have a limited understanding of. So you can research and your learning can grow and apply your research to that product. Because although it is a personal interest, you need to research and to gain more knowledge about that. Bit of a key to keep some good grades there. You then identify prior learning and subject-specific knowledge, where they draw together what they've learned from home. So if they're running a sports clinic, they can look at their training with their coach. If they're creating, we have some seamstress work here. So one of the girls had completed an adult night class casual senior college. She used that to inform her product. And also it draws together all the subjects within the MYPs. They draw together their maths learning, English, etc. to inform the actual product. And they demonstrate the research skills. And the research skills tend to be the very large part of the project. And that's where we require students to have at least 2 to 3 primary sources. And they develop as communicators by actually initiating contact with members of the community, with yourself perhaps as their parent, with teachers, with basically anyone who can help them with their product. And they learn to conduct interviews, to take notes, to be respectful to others and take up their ideas and actually incorporate that to their actual product or outcome at the end. And then we move from here, that section down to planning, and they take their knowledge they begin to plan for the actual personal project, what they're going to create at the end. And they develop criteria that is very rigorous and challenging. It shouldn't be easy, it should be hard, and we do have checks to make sure that this is actually going to be a hard and challenging project. So they really do extend themselves in their learning. They then begin to plan and record the process of the project. So they actually document the whole project as they go. And they make plans and they seek to fulfill those plans as well. So to set some timelines, to set some goals, to watch those goals come to fruition hopefully. But obviously demonstrate self-management skills, which is often the hardest, especially in year 9 and year 10, where it's, do I play on my game, do I keep my iPad up, or do I do my homework? Do I spend time chatting with my friends on Facebook, or do I do some work? So developing those skills to manage their time effectively. And obviously that's also affective skills, so the social, emotional, the growth as well. We really do see this as a holistic journey, not just the academic knowledge, but also the heart as well. So that planning from there goes to taking action. This is where they draw together their investigation and their planning, and they take action to actually create a product of their choice. So for example, Maddie Curtis at the end here, her product was a metal wedding dress that was based on medieval era stitching of some sort, or some sort of structure, I forget what it is exactly, sorry. So she's done her research and her planning into welding, dress formation, medieval clothing, etc. She's brought it together, she's actually created her product. And likewise the products out here you can see as well. They demonstrate thinking skills. They demonstrate their ability to critically and creatively think by taking that research information, applying it to their product, coming across problems, solving those problems. It really is a way to help them develop a big project, but the thinking that goes on, the actual process of learning is what we really value, and that's what's really marked at the end as well. How they think, how they convey their thoughts and document those thoughts as well. And obviously communication and social skills, how they've used their knowledge from their interviews with outside sources to inform the actual product, how they've communicated with their teachers who can help them throughout the project. It's a really crucial part. And obviously at the end, it's all brought together in a reflection, and reflecting really is a very important part of really this program at Good Shepherd. Reflection is seen as part of every single lesson. It's in the part, not just as teachers, but as students, but as teachers who reflect continuously in our own teaching practice. And we require our students as well to reflect as they develop as learners. And so what we reflect as we develop the actual qualities, they will assess. And so Maddie at the end here, she would have created very strict specifications for her actual end product. She then has to reflect on how she's achieved her goal. Okay, so she'll look at all those specifications that she's created. Is it this height? Is it this weight? Does it have this look, etc.? And she then assesses herself. So that whole notion of reflection and self-assessment is carried all the way through, right up to the personal project. So I'm sure you see the assessment time sheets hopefully have come back. And there's been a student grade and a teacher grade as well. So that kids can be those conversations with their teachers on their actual marks. And that should be reflected in the personal project as well. So then also how is it extended their knowledge and understanding of not only the topic, so not only welding and dressmaking, but also they've chosen a global context, which is quite airy-fairy, so it seems at times, but actually gives the project purpose. So for example, hers was identities and relationship, where she looked at how clothing is people identities and how eras and times in history have been identified through clothing, etc. Then obviously we reflect back on how to develop as an IB learner. Those 10 learner profile traits, we require our students at the end to reflect on how they've grown as thinkers, how they've grown as communicators, how they've grown as open-minded individuals, etc. So that's the actual whole learning journey. That's what the students will be travelling on for the next 9 months. You'll hopefully be hearing the language of I'm reflecting, I'm critically thinking, I'm creatively thinking, I'm transferring the knowledge. You'll hopefully hear these things come, these words come from your children. So, are there any questions on this? Is this pretty straightforward? It's basically step by step throughout the cycle, but obviously each step requires a reflection back on the step beforehand. So transferring around as we go. Yeah. Okay, so what I look now is the actual, the physical, the end product, okay? So So they go through this whole enterprise of this journey of learning. What they produce at the end is three things. They produce firstly a process journal, an actual product or an outcome, and a report. And the report is the painful part, but if we set ourselves up at the beginning, it will be fine. And I'll give you some tips on how to do that now. So first we have our process journal. Our process journal is basically the documentation of the entire project. So the students can choose a format of their choice. So far I've had email to a Trello site. We've had a website where the student has created his own little Trello page, is updating constantly his actual journal. Others have a notebook. Others just use their iPad, which we highly recommend you update at a regular basis. We lost 4 entire personal projects this year, and it was very painful. So please make sure you back up your work constantly. And please remind your children to back up their work constantly. It's really important. So the documentation in the process journal is used to inform the final report, which I'll look at in a second with you. And the process journal should have photos, drawings, it should have reflections, it should have information from interviews we've gone on, printouts of emails that have been sent back and forward to mentors in the community perhaps. It should just contain the bulk of the work. And as parents, the way that you can help us out here is that you can actually ask to regularly see the process journal. Make sure they're keeping track, they're not spending 5 days working thoroughly on it, staying up to 1 o'clock in the morning, getting their work done, and a whole 2 months without even looking at the project. Okay, we want to see regular updates. They've managed their time effectively, and they've used time management skills to complete the overall project. And also, if you just provide consistent reminders to update their process journals, that would be greatly appreciated. So secondly, we have the actual product or outcome. So the product is what students initiate and create, and the outcome, sorry. The product is the tangible product, so what we can have in front of us. This year we've had 4 novels that have come through. We now need to go and read those novels, and so far they've been absolutely fantastic. Fishing lures, we have a Coco Chanel dress here. Large variety. We've had foosball tables. It's entirely dependent on the student, entirely dependent on them. We also have outcomes, so it's like an achievement. Some of our students are keen AFL players. They wanted to improve their AFL techniques, or not very sporty, sorry, so their sport makes them to improve that. And so they began to set goals and monitor and watch themselves as they progressed. And that was their outcome. They documented the whole process. I think one of our girls this year is going to start doing some fundraising for students in a school in Nepal who were impacted by the earthquake. So that's an outcome, okay? So it's something we don't actually have as a product, but they can document the actual process of completing a project. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so a way that you can help is also provide partnerships in the community. We've had the father, Mr. Curtis, this year is a welder, and so he basically had about 7 of our students on board this year, and he was a mentor for them as they completed their projects. And so you can find, mentors in the community who can help your child complete their actual project, and also be a sounding board, help them be that balanced person who spends time on it, developing as it grows. And I was not leaving it all to the last minute, which is a really painful process for them. So that's the actual product or outcome. And lastly, we have the report. And the report is a sustained piece of writing that should be starting it at the beginning and finalising it towards the end. Okay, so what it is, it's basically a record and reflection of how they've engaged in the personal project, what they've learned throughout the actual project. It is designed so students who have struggles with reading and writing can achieve the top grades, as well as those who really excel. Okay, so it's got that full spectrum. So the minimum is 1,500 words to 3,500 words. However, we do have some students who really just do not like writing, and that's okay. The project is about thinking, it's about the skills that you put into the process of learning. So we're happy to accept verbal, so you can actually make a video blog of your report at the end. That's more than okay. We're happy with that. If you like to do it in a different language, a different character language, that's all right. The specifications for word limits, what needs to be done there as well. We just need to find someone who can market, so we can send overseas and they can do it for you, which is, we're more than happy to do that too. So, another way that this tends to be the part that's left towards the end. And so for the past 2 weeks, we've had about 90 year 10s quickly finishing their report, which was great, but it was hard for them towards the end because they hadn't sustained that whole writing, filling in their actual journal, using that information to transfer to their actual report, remind them to update their process journals consistently, and then once they've done it, they can simply transfer that to the actual report at the end. Yeah. And down in the front here, please have a look. We provide some examples of students who have completed really good reports, really good. Now basically just shows how they've, basically just articulates how they've been engaged in the actual project. Yeah. So that's the 3 components of the personal project. So now let's look at the actual support that we give to the school. Because it is an independent project, we do require students to take responsibility here. So what happens is that each student is given a supervisor, and that is a teacher in the school. Each teacher has 2 to 3 students that they supervise. They will not initiate contact at all. It is the student's responsibility to see that teacher's name on the board, and they'll have a board there, and then to use very formal email etiquette, send an email to that teacher to book a meeting, and that teacher actually becomes a sounding board for them. It's their support throughout the personal project. They can read your drafts, they can look at process journals, they can provide feedback if they've got questions, they can just bring questions to me or look on the ID website. And that person becomes your go-to person. The teachers really do appreciate and love the personal project, so you'll find that there's much more to help here. So, and also what it does as well, with those social skills, it helps our students develop as communicators. They develop those social skills and have interactions and a bit of a different relationship with their teachers in senior school than they do in middle school. Because obviously in senior school the classes are much smaller, and as they grow, they have a different relationship with their teachers, which is a personal project is an important stepping stone. So, and obviously, that's the personal project as a whole. The goal overall, what we are at IB and NYP School is that we develop self-regulating and very independent learners. Okay, who really take pride in their work. So that's the personal project in a nutshell, basically. And I'll just show you, we've put together, I'm sure you probably all have a look at our Connect page. We've introduced a new system in the school called Sector. From our end and from your end, it's called Connect. And I'll just show you what I have given students for support and yourself as parents. So what I've got here, bear with me. We have here the students page. So if you come to your child's page, you'll see on the leisure courses here. And what we put together the entire process of completing the personal project. So it's a step-by-step guide the whole way through. We've unpacked what they do in investigating. And there's different diagrams and examples. We've actually created a personal project and used past students to actually give an example as well. So if they're really stuck, they can look to that exemplar just there. That's provided in all of the actual 4 criteria throughout the personal project. For those who don't like to read, we've also made little video clips, and so we had past students come and actually create 5 little videos, they're about 10 minutes long, actually document what you need to do step by step throughout the project. Okay, so that's there to support you as well, and they're also here. So there's also down the bottom, you'll see there's the criteria, there's graphic organisers, all that you need is on this site. Okay, so it really is, especially when you get to university, TAFE, whatever it is that you go to, this is how learning takes place. It's in the online world. So hopefully it can help you begin to get used to that mode of learning as well. And from a parent's perspective, you have the exact same view. So you can see exactly what's happening in the actual personal project. And if you're a little bit stuck for information, it's all here on the actual Connect site. So hopefully all the information you need, because if you click on your Connect page and it's just all there for you. And if you need help, by all means, just come and contact me. I'm happy to help in any way. And what we do as teachers, I'll show you from our end as well, as teachers what we're going to be doing is providing you with regular updates. So you can actually know from our end how your students are tracking. Because I know we've had lots of parents call me and say, oh, I thought he was doing so well, but then I realised he hasn't actually done much. He's just told me he's doing well, which I know seems to happen a lot. But that's okay. And so what we do here, we're actually going to provide milestone feedback. So there's actually due dates attached to these milestones, and that means the student has actually gone to see their supervisor, booked a meeting, and show that their investigating is underway. Okay, they've also done their planning the whole way through. Okay, and that means that you'll have a text message or an email of some sort updating you throughout the 9 months of how your child is tracking throughout the personal project. Yeah, so that is basically it when it comes to personal project information. We do have an exhibition night, awards and exhibition night, on Tuesday, June 9th, so week 10. You are all so welcome. We'll have the senior school down the bottom filled with projects. And please come along, we have nibbles and drinks for the night. And you can come be a part of what we have here at the college. It also gives you an idea of other projects to help your child along as well. Yeah. Are there any questions? Oh, the person is okay. So our teachers are now currently wrapping up year 10s. So we're finalising our marks. We finish marking those by the end of week 6. Then on week 6 on Tuesday, we have our year 9 immersion day. So what happens is that students come, they have to a uniform that day, they can wear casual dress, and they're taken off the timetable the whole day. And they basically just fill the senior school in small groups, and we take them through a series of workshops where they learn how to research effectively, how to transfer their knowledge. And then what happens at the end of that day, we'll give them their actual supervisor, and they can walk them through a session, so there's my voice, sorry, of how to communicate in a very professional manner with their teachers, and they can book in some meetings and get ready that way. Sorry. And also tomorrow I'm heading into the Year 9 pastoral care classes, and also all of Friday, this week and next week. And so you can actually ask your students or your child, to show you their process journal, because by tomorrow there should be, or by Friday there should be at least 2 or 3 pages underway. Because tomorrow we start our goals, and we also establish our global context. Not going to be asking questions now. And then on next week, we actually look at identifying prior learning, and the subject-specific knowledge, and this is done with myself in the classroom and other teachers. There's lots of help to get them started, that foundation, to get laid properly. Then during the immersion day, they basically start and finish their research or get their foundation of that ready to go. That whole first quadrant will be finalised, and they're ready just to go. That is, so I'm working weeks, it's Tuesday week 6, so it's two weeks from yesterday. Sorry. I think it's 26th of May, yeah, 26th of May. And it is a great day. Please, we really do just beg students, please don't take a day off that day. Come to school, be actively involved, because it's the one day that we should give you as a school and say, you know what, this is independent. We're going to try to give you some support here. Alright, because the rest after that is basically on your own. You have occasional workshops with myself and one of our other teachers. But after that, it's just independent learning, independent working. Yeah. I've just provided you with a significant amount of information. My website is just, my email is just laura.england@ntschools.net. So if you have any further questions, please just flip me an email or give me a call. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And please come and have a look at the actual projects that we've got here. If you look at the actual end results, so the actual process journal, the report, and the actual product. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming. I know it's a Wednesday night, and we are truly thankful that you're here. Have a lovely night.